Hi, I'm Dr. Christopher Burton. I'm glad you're back with me this evening. Today, we're going to talk about how you can manage your schedule. Yes, doctors are busy. That's pretty obvious. And most of us had this happen well before we began our careers. Even back in before we got into med school, we did a lot of time studying. We sacrificed our time to study for boards, to look for residency programs, trying to get into fellowships, getting our first job, looking for a place to move when we got out. Our busy schedule never slows down. It seems like it just keeps getting piled on us more and more. There are three things that I want to share with you today that will help hopefully give you more of your time back, give you more control of your schedule. A lot of the people I work with find that they can recapture several hours a week just using some of the techniques that I'll share with you. The first one is blocking time. One of the biggest enemies that we have is frequent interruptions. For most of us, we spend probably about 3 hours or more a day checking emails, apps, voicemail, text messages. Every time we get interrupted, it takes approximately 17 minutes to get back into focus. The problem is that I don't have 17 minutes free in my day to get focused and restart again. Most of us don't even have 17 minutes to spend on one task at a time. So it's kind of hard if we keep getting interrupted that frequently to maintain our focus. One of the biggest things that I found that's effective in tackling this is block scheduling. Setting aside anywhere from 30 to 60 to 90 or even half day blocks of time where you have no distractions, can focus on what you need to do, tends to make you much more productive. Turn off all the distractions. Don't have anything that dings, whistles, bells that go off. Get rid of all those distractions. You'll be able to do much more than you ever did before if you block that time. Don't let anything or anyone interrupt you during that time. Focus on one thing and one thing only. Don't give in to that temptation to multitask. It's one of the worst things that you can do for productivity. The second thing that I want to share with you is to do the most important things first. Put that into the first part of your day. Start off with that, because inevitably something's going to happen. But if you do the most important things first, you're going to find that you have more free time at the end of the day for those little fires that come up that you have to put out along the way. If you don't address those most important things first, what happens oftentimes is they keep getting put off and put off to the point where they just never get done. The third thing that I want to share with you tonight is there's, for just about any profession, but even especially for doctors, there's really only three things that you do at work on a daily basis that really matter. Obviously, the first thing for us is seeing patients. That's kind of central to our role and what we do. The second thing is probably documentation and billing, and they go hand in hand. So that leaves one more thing that you do that's really critical or important at work. So, what is that for you? I've got to figure out what that another thing is. Everything else is probably not that important, or someone else could probably do it just as well to free you up for additional tasks or to focus on those first two tasks. One of the things that I found really helpful is delegating. I'm not going to go into my 7 steps of delegating tonight, but it is very important to learn how to do that effectively, because too often things get pushed onto us as physicians because, quite frankly, no one else wants to do it. And whether it's from administration, government bureaucracy, insurance carriers, somebody seems to think that we're always the last straw and that we'll be able to handle that. But those things get piled on us unnecessarily. It's time to provide a little bit of pushback and learn to say no in those situations. We could spend an entire workshop talking about time management techniques. There's so many different things out there. I've studied them from the likes of Darren Hardy, Brian Tracy, the top individuals on time management productivity in the world. A lot of the things that I use come from that world as well as healthcare, because there's so many things that we can learn from others who have mastered managing their time and productivity. One of the tools I want to share with you tonight is a block schedule template. One of the best things you can do is just sit down, write out everything you have to do that's important in your day, whether it's obviously work, commuting, those sorts of things are obvious. Meal time, you've got to have that. But also if you want time for exercise, for reading, for your own hobbies, how are you going to squeeze that into a busy schedule? Things aren't going to happen just by chance. You've got to go ahead and put those in. So if you go to ChristopherBurtonMD.com/block, that's ChristopherBurtonMD /BLOCK as in block schedule, you'll be able to download the template file. I went ahead and filled in some sample text there for things that you can choose to change, add, subtract, fill in, what fits your needs best. Now, obviously, for those of us who have family, making sure we have quality family time every day is important. For those of us who like to exercise, getting that in every day or as often as possible. We've got to set those things in now, because otherwise somebody else is going to fill your schedule, and you're not going to find time for doing those things that you need to do. So I appreciate you taking some time to spend with me here. Hopefully you found this helpful. Please go to ChristopherBurtonMD.com /block to download your free template and get started today.